All right, welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Dev series. We are in the chapter where we are creating a login registration system using procedural PHP. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to finish up we're going to mostly finish up our registration process where we're going to insert the validated form submission into the database as a registered user. And then we're going to redirect them to the login page. Now we haven't created the login page yet, but let's go ahead and jump right in. So let me switch over to my screen here. And we want to make sure that our server is up and running. Sudo opt lamp exam start. And mine is already running. If yours are running, you're ready to go. So let's switch over to our screen here and let's jump into our register .php. I'm gonna go ahead and close this head and foot. We don't need that open right now. So in our register.php, in the last video we had created this. Let me just make sure. Okay. We had created this comment here to remind us what we needed to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to check. Now, we're going to follow the same pattern where we're checking empty errors. Now, we've done this all the way through, but now if at the end, if the errors are still empty, we're going to assume everything is good and we're going to go ahead and register the user. So just type if empty errors. Then go ahead and we're going to set up fname is equal to post first name. We'll do the same thing with last name. We'll do the same thing with email. And we'll do the same thing with password. Okay, I'm going to save that. And so now we have variables set up for all of these. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is create our SQL statement to insert this in the database. So if you remember from the last section, the last chapter, to insert, we're going to type insert into, and then, into the table, which was users, and then we have to give it the list of columns, and then we say values, and then we give it the list of values, and then we'll do a semicolon here. So we'll hit save, and then now right here in the list of our columns, remember these are backticks, which is above the tab key on an American keyboard. We will type first, let me turn off my caps lock, first name, comma, backtick, last name, and then comma, backtick, email, backtick, comma, backtick, password. All right. So now we have these values, and remember we're going to bind these, so we're not going to go ahead and use these directly in here because we want to avoid SQL injection. So for each one of those, we're going to use a question mark. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 question marks. We're going to bind all of these because they're all coming from form submission, meaning the user entered these, so we can't trust them. You never want to trust the users. All right, so now we have our SQL statement. So now we just need to set up our binds. So that will be an array. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4 elements that need to be in this order. So what we're going to do is we're going to add in our first name, because that was first, our last name, email, and then password. All right, so that is our binds. The next thing that we want to do is set up a variable called result, and we're going to use our query function that we created a few chapters ago, and we're just going to pass in our SQL statement and our binds as a second parameter. And for the third parameter, this is just going to execute. So we're not trying to retrieve anything. We're inserting. So we're going to pass in true for execute only. And then we'll get this result back. So the next thing we'll do is down here, we're going to create another if statement, and we're going to say if result. So remember, this is going to be a true or false here. So if it's true, then what we want to do, I'll put a comment here for now, and we're going to redirect to login.php, okay? So now let's go and test this out. If I put in all valid information here, and we hit register, it didn't appear to do anything, so let's check the database, hit browse, and now you see we have a new row. So if you don't have any errors and everything works well, you should actually get this where it has a new row. So it created a new user called Curtis Parham. Now password right now is just a plain text password. We're going to fix that next, but now you can see what's going on here. This is what we want. So actually what I'm going to do here while I'm in PHP.MyAdmin, I'm just going to go ahead and delete both of these rows out of my database because I don't want either one of those. So now we have an empty database again. And what I'm going to do is we don't want the password to be just a plain password. Instead, what we want to do is we want to hash that password and store it as a hashed password. So right here underneath here, we'll just go ahead and say password is equal to, and then PHP gives us a nice function called password_hash. And then we're going to pass in our password from that. And then the second parameter here is going to be a constant called password_default. So that will hash, if you look this up in php.net, it will hash this password that's passed in, and it will save it in our database as a hashed password. And we'll be able to verify that password later. But for now, this isn't going to be human readable. So now if I go back here, and you can either fill this out again or hit register again. It doesn't look like anything happened. But now let's go back to the database here at PHP.MyAdmin and hit browse. And now you can see we have our row, but now the password is this long string here. And so this right here, it's even longer than what's showing. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So this is the full hashed password now, and now you can't see in the database what it actually is. So if someone got access to this, they at least wouldn't be able to steal the passwords from our users because they can't unencrypt this theoretically. So that is what we're doing there. The last thing we want to do is go ahead and set up the ability to, if this is successful, instead of just staying on this page, we want to redirect them to the login page where they can then log in. So let's go ahead and go back here, but we're going to need to create a function to redirect the user. And so what we're going to do is create another method or another function in our functions.php here. And let's put this underneath our isSetElse function here. So let's say function, and we'll say redirect. And then we're going to pass in a URL to redirect to. And open and close our curly braces to finish the function off. And we're going to do two different ways of doing this. So the first way is through PHP. And so with PHP, we can say header. And inside there, we can do some double quotes, and we're going to say location, space. And then since this is a string literal, we can just pass in our URL like that. The problem with this, with doing it this way, is that this only works if the headers have not been set already, if they haven't been sent. If the headers have been sent, this won't work. So we need to actually, we'll say if not headers underscore sent, that's a function that PHP gives us, then we can put an if statement with some opening and closing brackets, and we're going to move this. So I'll Control X that, and we'll put that inside of that if statement. Okay. Else, what we'll do is we're going to use a JavaScript way of doing this. So we'll echo out some JavaScript here. And so we'll, and I know we haven't gone through JavaScript yet, so don't worry about it, just kind of follow along. So we're going to open and close some script tags here. And inside the script tags, we're going to type window.location.href is equal to, and then we'll do some double quotes there. And then we're going to do some single quotes inside of there. And we're going to concatenate on URL. So what this is going to do is it's going to echo out this part here. It's going to break out of that string there, and then it'll insert the URL, and then it'll concatenate on our closing double quote and our closing script tag. So this will use JavaScript to change our page. The next thing that we want to do at the very bottom of this is we want to kill the execution of our PHP script. So we'll put an exit there. So we can use exit or die. So we'll use exit. I think exit's an alias of die or vice versa, but they're the same function. Exit, so that kills the script, and this will redirect them. So back now in our register page, we have this if statement set up and says if result, we want to redirect them to another page. And so we'll say redirect, and we want to redirect them to login.php. So let's test that now. We saved it. Let's go back here to our page, and well, I'm going to enter a new user, so I'll go ahead and fill out the form for Tony. So she's registering for our site, and I'll hit register. And now if you look up here, it should redirect us to login.php. Now we haven't created this page yet, so we get a 404, the object's not found, and that's totally fine. So if that happened to you, that's good. So we can go ahead and go back to our register.php page, and here we are. We'll work on that login.php page later in the chapter, but for now, this is where we want to be. So let's go ahead and double check in phpMyAdmin, and you can see that Tony was added, her password's hashed, everything's good to go. The last thing that we needed to do for our registration process is we need to be able to send an email, and we want that email to we want to be able to send the email to the user so that they can verify that they've registered with a valid email address. The reason we're doing that is because we're going to be doing password recovery as well, so that they can get an email if they forgot their password that will allow them to reset their password. Let me just check my syllabus real quick, see if there's anything else that we were supposed to do in this video. Let's see. Finish up registration, redirect. Yeah, so we will, in the next video, set up some annoying stuff that we have to do to work with email, to test email. Because using this local server, it's not going to work very well to actually, and depending on your operating system, it may not work at all to actually send an email. So we're going to simulate an email server on our local machine and give ourselves a way to test these emails that we're going to be sending. And then when you put this on a live server, it will work. Okay, so you don't need to worry about that. But we will create, basically, you know how we did a virtual server with Examp, we will do a virtual email server on our computer as well, and we'll set it up to use that in order to get going with sending this email. So we'll send the verification email. We probably won't actually do the verification process in the next video. We'll just get the email up and running, and then in the following video we'll actually do the verification process. And then we just need to finish up the login registration to allow them to actually log in, click on forget reset their password, things like that. All right, guys. Well, if you are enjoying this series, please comment, like, subscribe. Leave a comment down below some big aha moments that you may have had in this video or in this series and how this is helping you. So give me some encouragement so that I keep going. I can't believe I'm taking on such a big course and then just giving it away for free, which I don't really care about making money, so I want to give it away for free. However, this is a huge time commitment for me to create all these videos. So if you could just interact, let me know that you're enjoying it so that I keep creating content. Otherwise, I'm just going to get bored and do something else. All right, guys, I'm just joking. I've already committed to this. I'm a man of my word. I will finish it. All right, I will see you guys in the next video.